Good evening, good evening. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So, AEW WrestleDream has officially completed and in the books. And what an event. What an event. Pulled a lot of punches and scored really big. So, wanted to go ahead and give my review on this epic AEW pay-per-view. We had 14 total matches. That's right, 14. We had 4 pre-show matches and 10 main card matches. So this was a very loaded show. But let's go ahead and get into it. AEW WrestleDream took place October 1st in Seattle, Washington at the Climate Pledge Arena. And this show was to honor the late, great, original founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Antonio Inoki. And as a matter of fact, this event started off really well. They did a nice tribute video package for Antonio Inoki. And they also had a presentation. They also did a 10-bell salute as well. But they did a presentation where they had the grandsons of Antonio Inoki in the ring. Had Tony Khan, you had Katsuyori Shibata, and you had Rocky Romero. They all had the red towels that Antonio Inoki usually wears with his insignia on them. And they just did a, reserve this time to just honor the late, great Antonio Inoki. So that was really cool to see. It was really, really cool to see. And that's how they kicked the show off. And then we had 4 pre-show matches. They were called 0 Hour. So it was the AEW WrestleDream 0 Hour. So we are going to start off with the pre-show matches. Let me get my notes out just so that I make sure I'm going in order. And let's see. All right. Let's get started, shall we? Here we go. Okay, to start off AEW WrestleDream 0 Hour, we first had a 4-on-4 mixed tag match where we had team number 1 made up of Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Mercedes Martinez, and Diamante, and they took on the team of Satoshi Kojima, Keith Lee, Athena, and Billie Starkz. This was an alright match. I felt like, for the most part, all 8 competitors were showcased. I felt like Billie Starkz could have been showcased a lot more in this match. And I really would have liked to have seen more interaction between Keith Lee and Shane Taylor. Like, there was some, but I felt like there could have been more. But this was an alright match. I wasn't too sure that Billie Starkz and Athena were going to really work together on the same page, but for the most part, they did just fine. And, yeah, I definitely liked a couple of things that I saw in this match. Once Satoshi Kojima got in and got rolling, he did his thing. He definitely did his thing. And, of course, got to see the machine gun chops that he loves to do. Keith Lee did hit a Big Bang Catastrophe as well. But when it was all said and done, they had Lee Moriarty set up for Satoshi Kojima to hit him with the running lariat and then pin him for the 1-2-3. And the team of Satoshi Kojima, Keith Lee, Athena, and Billie Starkz win your opening contest for the pre-show. But it was an all right match. It could have been better, but I mean, it's a pre-show match, so it is what it is. But I felt like it could have been better. All right, continuing on with our next 0 hour match. We had a singles match. We had Josh Barnett versus Claudio Castagnoli. I have to say, this was quite a clash of styles, and I felt like, which I assumed this was their first time wrestling each other. I felt like they did good. Felt like they had pretty good chemistry throughout this match. The match could have been much longer, but I felt like it was all right for what it was. And from the way things ended and the post segment, it looks like this could be a match that we may see ran back at a future time. But for now, pretty good match. Pretty good match. Claudio gets the pin over Josh Barnett with a crucifix. And afterwards, a great sign of respect and sportsmanship from Josh Barnett. Pretty much praising Claudio. And, Josh Barnett had trained with Antonio Inoki before. And, of course, has a strong MMA background. He's been in the UFC. I believe Josh Barnett's also been in Pride fighting as well. So he's got a lot of experience, and he knows Antonio Inoki well. So, but yeah, after the match, great endorsement for Claudio and just a great sign of sportsmanship. And he hinted at, I'm gonna come back, and I want to face you again at some point. So, hey, I look forward to it. Whenever that is, there's no telling when that will be. But I wouldn't mind a Josh Barnett, Claudio Castagnoli rematch. Why not? Why not? But for now, Claudio picked up the victory. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Let me get the graphic for the next match. Here it is. All right, next match. We had a singles match. We had Luchasaurus versus Nick Wayne. Now, this match really wasn't that long, and it was pretty one-sided. I think Nick Wayne might have gotten maybe a morsel of offense in this entire match, but I mean, let's keep it real. It was pretty one-sided. It was very one-sided. I wasn't a big fan of the finish. Just Luchasaurus doing like the clothesline to the back of Nick Wayne and then covering him for the 1, 2, 3. I felt like the finish could have been a lot more devastating, personally. But, I mean, Luchasaurus was in control throughout the whole match, and he pretty much dominated Nick Wayne. So, I mean, the outcome was no surprise. Just, I felt like the finish could have been a lot better. But wasn't a long match. So, it was eh. It was eh. And then the final match of the AEW WrestleDream 0 hour, we had ourselves a title match. We had the AEW World Trios Championships on the line, as the champions, the Acclaimed and Billie Gunn, defend against TMDK, made up of Mikey, Nicholls, Shane Haste, and Bad Dude Tito. I have to say, this was a pretty solid match to close out the 0 hour. I really liked how well TMDK was showcased in this match, which I believe this was their first appearance in AEW, and they did good. They did really good. And like I said, I like the team of Shane Haste and Mikey Nicholls, of course, you know, back in WWE, they were TM61. But it was really good to see TMDK get showcased well in this match. And even though they weren't able to win, which I didn't pick them to win anyway, they looked good. Overall, they looked really good. And I do kind of felt like the finish was a little rushed. Just a little rushed. But pretty much, Billy Gunn got in a lot of his offense near the end, for the most part, once he got the hot tag. But when it was all said and done, Max Caster put the final nail in the coffin, dropping the mic drop on Bad Dude Tito before covering him for the 1-2-3. And the Acclaim and Billy Gunn retain the AEW World Trios Championships. And like I said, I feel like they're going to be champs for a while. You know, they're definitely over with the crowd. They got a lot of buzz. They're great together. I think they're going to have a good run. They might not have as long of a run as the House of Black did, but I think they're going to have a great run. So, wait for them to finish off 0 Hour, picking up the win and another successful title defense for the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Good stuff. Okay, now let's get into the main card of WrestleDream. Let's see. Here we go. So they opened up with this title match. So we had the ROH World Tag Team Championships on the line, and this was in a 2-on-1 handicap match, as the champ MJF, who was holding both titles, defended against the Righteous. Now, I mean, the match itself was, I guess, entertaining, but if anything, the match is really just being hyped up because of the whole idea of MJF keeping the titles until Adam Cole returns, heals from his, ankle surgery and whatnot. Which I believe it's ankle surgery. Yeah, shattered ankle. So, I mean, I don't know how much he's going to be doing this, but at least in this match, he made it very entertaining. It was definitely very entertaining. But MJF took his lumps, took his beatings, but was very smart and crafty in this match. Was able to pick his shots and also entertain the crowd at the same time. So I felt like MJF definitely did his part. It was pretty funny. Alright match, but very entertained just with how much silliness happened. But MJF was able to put away Dutch Mantel after hitting him with the Heat Seeker, and then pinning him for the 1-2-3 to retain the ROH World Tag Team Championships. So, congratulations to MJF on retaining the titles all by himself. But, yeah, I think they're probably going to do that again soon with a different tag team, or at least for however long. But we'll see. But it looks like they're not going to be relinquishing those titles, or MJF's not going to relinquish those titles. So don't look forward to it. That's all I can say. All right. Next up, we had the ROH World Championship / New Japan Strong NJPW Strong Openweight Championship double title match, as the double champion Eddie Kingston defended against the ROH Pure Champion Katsuyori Shibata. Now, while I'm not a fan of double title matches or double title or more holders, this match was awesome. This match was hard hitting and really just a great clash of two great wrestlers, hard hitting strikers that went back and forth. And both men were showcased really well. I mean, really, really well. It really could have gone either way on paper, but Eddie Kingston was able to pick up the victory. He hit the back fist from the future and then transitioned into a power bomb, stacked him up for the pin, 1, 2, 3, and Eddie Kingston retains both the ROH World Championship and NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. And you gotta love the sign of respect and sportsmanship from both of these competitors. You know, sitting in an Indian style position and then shaking hands and bowing to each other, hugging each other. So great sign of respect. And it was cool to see Eddie Kingston, you know, leave the ring and let Shibata have his moment, especially, you know, with the tribute to Antonio Inoki. So just a great show of respect and sportsmanship from both of these athletes. It's amazing. It's definitely amazing. All right. Next up, let's see. Oh, yeah. So next up, we got more championship matches. This time, the TBS championship was on the line as the champion, Kris Statlander, defended against Julia Hart. Overall, this match was awesome. Julia Hart really put up an excellent fight in this match, especially against Kris Statlander, two great wrestlers. Kris Statlander has been on a roll since returning from injury and dethroning Jade Cargill. And Julia Hart, she's been doing her thing ever since joining House of Black. She's been stronger, a lot more fierce, and she's been racking up victories. So this match was definitely warranted of this pay-per-view. And it showed. Both of these ladies went back and forth. I know Brody King was in the corner for Julia Hart. And there was a moment Julia tried to use the mist, but she got hit as she was using the mist. Therefore, it didn't get on Kris Statlander. But I have to say, what an excellent counter from Kris Statlander as she was trapped in the Heartless submission from Julia Hart. She was able to lift her up, transition into a tombstone pile driver, and then transition to a Saturday Night Fever, or I guess in this case Sunday Night Fever. Hit her with that before pinning her for the 1, 2, 3. Kris Statlander, still your TBS champion. But what a finish. That was a great finish. Like, I really like how she countered that Heartless submission into the tombstone and then into the Sunday Night Fever. And that was a wrap. So, very creative, very crafty there from Kris Statlander. That was a great finish. And this was a good match. This was definitely a really good match. And I do believe someday Julia Hart will be a champion. For sure. I definitely believe she will. Just didn't happen tonight. So, it is what it is. Okay, before we continue on with the rest of the card, here's a quick word on the sponsor of this video, Game Beauty. As you continue to enjoy content here at Blitzball Champ Gaming, be sure you take a moment to check out Game Beauty. Beauty inspired by gaming. Game Beauty brings to you video game related makeup and cosmetic products. You have products such as eyeshadow palettes, elemental pearl highlighters, eyeshadow brushes, liquid eyeliner pens by Akideris, and even non-makeup products like graphic tees. They even have special collaboration makeup kits, such as this Persona 5 Heat Wave Brush Single, Metaverse Bundle, and even a Phantom Thieves Limited Edition Makeup Collection. Also remember that Game Beauty provides international shipping of $60 or more. And if you use the promo code BlitzballChamp, all in caps, you can get 10% off of your order. So be sure to use that to your advantage. Now, back to your regularly scheduled video. Enjoy, and thank you. All right, let's jump back into the action with our next match. Okay, we had the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match where the winner becomes the new #1 contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships. They get a tag title shot anytime. We have the Young Bucks versus the Gunns versus Orange Cassidy and Hook versus the Lucha Brothers. Now, overall, this match was good. I definitely was digging this match. It was just really unfortunate that Rey Fenix got hurt in this match and was pretty much taken out. So Penta El Cero Miedo had to pretty much fend for himself. I tell you, Rey Fenix, I feel like he's dealt with a lot of injuries since coming to AEW. It's just, yeah, it's really, the injuries for him have really piled up, to be honest with you. So, just unlucky break for Rey Fenix. But Penta still did his thing, as well as the other teams. Each team looked really good. But when it was all said and done, the Young Bucks were able to pick up the victory. They hit Penta with a BTE trigger before Nick Jackson made the cover 1, 2, 3. And the Young Bucks have earned the future title shot, which means, looks like we could be getting Young Bucks versus FTR #4. Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. FTR is 2-1 in the series, if I remember correctly. So, if it comes down to it, the Young Bucks would have a chance to tie it up. But we'll see. But this was a pretty good match. Overall, this was a pretty good match. All right. Now, we are about to go to my favorite match of the whole card. Hands down, favorite match of the whole card. This right here. Singles match. Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page. This match was phenomenal from start to finish. These two went back and forth and just really told a good story. The build up to this match really showed in the quality of this match. Swerve had the hometown crowd. Adam Page was pretty much booed like a heel. And I have to say, Prince Nana was in the corner for Swerve, but just back and forth action between these two was just awesome. I mean, we saw a little bit of everything. We saw swerve stomps. We saw super kicks, fall away slams. Saw the dead eye. Saw a few house calls. And just, you know, we did see a buckshot lariat as well. But, I mean, just both of these guys just trading loads of offense throughout this match. And a lot of near falls. It really could have gone either way. Swerve was working on Hangman's arm. Hangman was working on Swerve's hand. So, good seeing the targeting of limbs in this match. And it was fantastic. It was really fantastic. There was a moment Hangman was being looked at by the medical team. He suffered that pop culture, that little arm break that Swerve likes to do every now and then. And while he was being attended to, he hit a swerve stomp on Adam Page onto the apron. And I have to say, it definitely... Whew. The finish, wasn't too surprised. I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting. Swerve was able to get the headband, the headdress of Prince Nana, and use it on Hangman as a weapon. That was pretty creative, because of course Prince Nana was getting ejected after putting Swerve's foot on the rope to break up a pin. But that distraction was enough. Hit Hangman with the headdress. Swerve did a couple of house calls. And then he hit one JML driver and pinned him for the 1-2-3. And Swerve Strickland picks up a huge win. A huge win over Hangman Adam Page. So the hometown guy with the victory. And of course, Prince Nana did his dancing like he usually does to Swerve's theme music. But I felt like this was the right call. I think this was the right call. I think Swerve really needed this a lot more than Hangman. So kudos to Tony Khan and the booking team for making this decision. I felt like this was the right decision. And this was my favorite match of the whole card, hands down. So good stuff. Really good stuff. All right. Let's keep it going with the next match. Let's see. Here we go. This next match was pretty good as well. All right, we had a singles match. Ricky Starkz, absolute Ricky Starkz, versus Wheeler Yuta. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Jon Moxley, who had not only accompanied Claudio Castagnoli to the ring for his match with Josh Barnett, but he was also on special guest commentary for his match, Wheeler Yuta's match, as well as Bryan Danielson's match. So, great support there. Of course, they're still part of the Blackpool Combat Club. But anyway, overall, this was a good back and forth match between these two. Felt like both of these superstars are very popular, have really been established well in AEW. You know, I've really enjoyed Wheeler Yuta's upcoming in AEW, leading up to joining the Blackpool Combat Club and just really establishing himself. And of course, absolute Ricky Starkz, which I had known ever since back in NWA, so he was a familiar face already. But these two definitely looked really good in this match. Really could have gone either way. But when it was all said and done, Ricky Starkz was able to pick up the victory after hitting Wheeler Yuta with a Rochambeau and pinned him for the 1-2-3. So Ricky Starkz ended up getting the best of Wheeler Yuta. Something tells me that rivalry's not over, but we'll see. But it was a good, solid match. I enjoyed it. Good, solid match. Okay. Next up, we had a really, really big one. Definitely, I would have to say, was my second favorite match. Second favorite match for sure. Here we go. We had the dream match. The big dream match. the American Dragon Bryan Danielson against the NJPW World Television Champion Zack Sabre Jr. of TMDK. These two put on a technical masterpiece at AEW WrestleDream. I can't think of any other way to describe this match but a technical masterpiece. We saw loads of submissions, loads of chain wrestling, loads of counters, loads of striking. This was a technical masterpiece. That's really all I can say. That's really all I can say for this match. Bryan Danielson was able to put away Zack Sabre Jr. after a Busaiku knee kick. It pretty much took two of those, for the most part, to put him away for the 1, 2, 3. Offered the handshake. Zack Sabre Jr. declined. But great victory for Bryan Danielson. But Zack Sabre Jr. still looked really great in this match. And I hope they eventually run it back. Either that or just get some more Zack Sabre Jr. in AEW. Would be really, really cool. But, you know, Zack Sabre Jr. is still the World TV Champ for NJPW, so... And he's been on a roll with that as well. But this match was, I say once again, a technical masterpiece. There's really no other way to describe that match. Or at least, in my opinion. Alright. Next up, this was my third favorite match. We had the trios match, the big trios match, where we had Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi team up to take on the Don Callis family of Sammy Guevara, Will Ospreay, and Konosuke Takeshita. Now, this match was pretty entertaining, and for a moment it looked like Sammy Guevara, I wasn't so sure if he would be able to get along with Takeshita and Will Ospreay. I mean, I know he had a blind tag early in the match, and it didn't seem like Will Ospreay took kindly to that. But, you know, Sammy Guevara was going to be his cocky self, like he usually is. But it was good to see Jericho work well with Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. Even got to see Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega, or not Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi and Chris Jericho pose in the middle of the ring together. I thought that was really cool. But this match was action-packed for the most part. And definitely a lot of talent in this match. A lot of great talent in this match. No doubt about it. But, of course, you know Don Callis ended up being the deciding factor with this match, as he knocked out Chris Jericho with his baseball bat. And then Sammy Guevara pretty much picked up the scraps by pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. And Sammy Guevara, Will Ospreay, Konosuke Takeshita, the Don Callis family picked up the victory. Y'all know what's crazy? That's 6 or 7 straight pay-per-views that Kenny Omega has been on the losing side. That's crazy. That is crazy, y'all. Like, Kenny Omega's been having a slump when it comes to the big pay-per-view matches, the ones that count the most. He's been on a losing streak. It's crazy. It's actually really crazy. Wow. I mean, who would have thought that would happen? You know, especially as somebody who was once a big belt collector. But it is what it is. All right, next match. Okay, we had the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line. As the champs, North Carolina's own FTR defended against Aussie Open. It was really good to see these two have a run back match. Definitely love both of these teams. Of course, you know, FTR, they're from North Carolina, just like me. But it was really good to see these two go at it again, and it was definitely an awesome match. Back and forth. It was really good to see a lot of tag team double moves, as well as, you know, seeing each clash individually in this match. From start to finish, the action was awesome. And it looked like Aussie Open was about to take it, especially after hitting the double clothesline and then hitting a Coriolis. But during the pin got broken up. And they even hit, well, it was kind of a botch, but they did hit a shatter machine, but the timing was off, so it was kind of a botch. But overall, solid match. FTR was able to pick up the victory by hitting an avalanche shatter machine. And Cash Wheeler made the pin on Kyle Fletcher after that avalanche shatter machine. Counted the 1, 2, 3. FTR, still your AEW World Tag Team Champions. So like I said, being that the Young Bucks won the #1 contendership, plus FTR retaining, looks like we are indeed going to get FTR Young Bucks 4. So, there's something to look forward to. Okay. And then the main event of AEW WrestleDream came down to this title match. We had the TNT Championship on the line, decided in a 2 out of 3 falls match. We had the champion, Christian Cage, defending against Darby Allin. Now, of course, Christian Cage came out with Luchasaurus. Darby Allin came out with Nick Wayne. Match got underway. Started off pretty much like a wrestling match, and then it just ended up getting more brutal along the way. Not to mention, Darby Allin was already bleeding before the match even started, which I think he got from the repeated slamming of his skateboard on the steel steps. I don't know if something chipped and hit him in the face, but he was bleeding even before the match started. So, yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, this match was good. Definitely started off as a wrestling match, but more and more as time passed, it got brutal. But Darby Allin was actually able to get the first pinfall, pin Christian Cage with like a jackknife pin to get on the board first. And then is when things started to go downhill for Darby Allin. Christian Cage was able to get the second victory via countout after he dropped Darby Allin onto the steel steps, like right on the edge pieces of the steps. Just bam. It was crazy. Darby Allin was down for a while. The medical team came out, put him on the stretcher, and Christian Cage was tearing up the ring to expose the wooden boards. He also hit a frog splash on Darby Allin while he was on the stretcher, which, you know, that was a crazy spot. But as he brought him into the ring, still mustered up the energy to continue. He ate a kill switch, but still kicked out. He hit Christian Cage with a coffin drop, but he still kicked out. But when it was all said and done, the ending, the big, surprising, crazy ending, as Nick Wayne came down, especially to help even the odds. Nick Wayne had the championship belt, was by the side of Darby Allin. Of course, Christian Cage was there as well. And Nick Wayne ended up decking Darby Allin with the championship, turning on his close friend. And then pretty much all Christian had to do was make the cover. 1, 2, 3. And he won the third fall. Therefore, Christian Cage retains the TNT Championship 2-1. And then him, Nick Wayne, Luchasaurus proceed to beat down Darby Allin. Sting did try to come and help, but then, the numbers game. The numbers game got the best of them. And while it looked like they were getting ready, Christian was getting ready to hit a concerto, the lights go out. There's a quick little clip on the screen, and all of a sudden, you think you know me. And Edge, Adam Copeland, arrives in AEW. Of course, the crowd goes crazy. He comes down to the ring, asks for this chair from Christian Cage, which he hands it to him, and he proceeds to look like he's going to do the concerto himself, but then he ends up hitting Nick Wayne with the chair, hitting Luchasaurus, scaring off Christian Cage, hits Luchasaurus with a spear, hits Nick Wayne with a spear, and pretty much cleans house. Of course, Christian Cage ends up running away. And then Edge shakes the hands of Darby Allin and Sting. Well. Looks like Edge is not so quick to join the side of his best friend Christian Cage. But hey, Edge has arrived in AEW. And honestly, I can't wait to see how this story is brewing. Like, his contract for WWE just ended, and just like that, he is all elite. Wow. Quick turnaround. Really quick turnaround. But quite a big ending for AEW WrestleDream. This was a fantastic show. I was a little hesitant at first because I wasn't sure when they were going to really build up the card. But they delivered. They definitely delivered. And I mean, just AEW's been crazy busy. I mean, they had All In, they had All Out, and then turn around they had WrestleDream. And then they still, remember, they still got Full Gear. Still got Full Gear to look forward to. So AEW's been rolling with these last couple of pay-per-views. So we'll see how they follow up. But AEW WrestleDream, really, really great. Enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed it. Well, that will do it for this review video. Don't forget to check out the link in the description for Game Beauty. And let me know what y'all thought of AEW WrestleDream. Did you enjoy the matches? What did you think of the matches? What did you think of the title changes? And, yeah. What do y'all think about Edge now in AEW? How do y'all think that's going to go? But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos that I upload or go live. Want to be sure you catch everything, so hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on YouTube the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Laters.